Hey gang, welcome back to Let's Level Up. My name is Rick, and today on the table I am so incredibly excited to talk about Specter Ops. This is a game designed by Emerson Matsuuchi of Nazca Games and co-published by both Nazca Games and Plaid Games, in a colossal meeting of the minds to bringing us an absolute outstanding working game. Spoiler alert, love this game. Absolutely love this game. Am in love with this game. Have loved this game since I played the prototype back in 2014, and have been incredibly excited for its release. I think Plaid Hat and Nazca have got something very, very cool, very rad, very awesome, very fun on their hands. And anybody who's ever seen the channel before knows a couple things. One, we like games that are fun, and two, Emerson Matsuuchi makes great games. Specter Ops is a hidden movement game for 2 to 5 players. In it, there's going to be an agent who's trying to infiltrate an evil corporation's base and complete 3 objectives out of 4, and then get the heck out of town. Now, the only problem is that the agent is going to be hunted down by up to 4 different hunters who are trying to make sure that the agent cannot complete their mission, and if they do not make it out alive. Agent has only so many hit points or can take so much damage before they're out of the game. The hunters' movements are all public knowledge because they'll be moving on a giant board that's laid out on the table. However, the agent itself's movement is tracked on a separate piece of paper, and that's where the mechanic of hidden movement comes into play. If you haven't played a hidden movement game before, I really think they offer a much more visceral strategic experience than some of the other board games that you can have out there. There's something that fog of war adds to an element of just sheer insanity and stress, and provides such a rewarding experience to both sides of the game here. There's nothing like being an agent and just juking around hunters and getting out and completing an objective and using your equipment at the right time. It's so rewarding. At the same time, there's nothing much better than being the hunter, sniffing out that filthy agent, and keeping Raxon Global's secrets still secret, so that way the world still continues to know that Raxon Global is one of the best corporations, if not the best, in the entire world. There's a lot of really cool theme going on in this game that I really enjoy. I think as far as the artwork goes, the character models are some of the best that are in any games that I've seen, and I would compare them with some of the more high quality models and minis that you'd see in games like Super Dungeon Explorer or Arcadia Quest. Just really, really good. Again, the artwork's not nearly the same there, but the quality of miniature that you're getting is just phenomenal. Overall, I really, really like this game for 2 to 3 players, and I think this is a must-have. So let's hit the table with it. I'm going to show you just a very, very brief overview of how it's played and give you some of the highlights on some of the components and cards in the game. And then after that, we'll be back with our final thoughts. So here we go. In Specter Ops, we're going to have 2 to 5 players take on 2 different roles. There's going to be one player who's going to play the agent. And the agent is going to be marked with these red cards here, and they're going to be trying to infiltrate a Raxon Global base. And what they're going to be trying to do is activate 3 out of the 4 tokens that are on the map and be able to basically turn them over. When they do that, they're basically accessing that intelligence point, and then after they get 3 out of the 4, they need to get to one of the areas here on the board marked as an escape. Now, there are going to be 4 Raxon Global Hunters whose job are to find the actual agent. Now, the agent itself is going to be, and the primary mechanic of this game is going to be a hidden movement-based game. So the agent is going to be tracking their movements on a sheet like this, and it looks like a giant crossword puzzle from there, but each spot is actually represented here on the board. So for instance, C18 on the board is C18 here on the gamepad as well. So you're going to actually mark your moves here on the actual pad, and that way we'll be able to track what you're doing on your turn. Now, the hunter's job is to basically find the agent before the agent can again get 3 out of the 4 Raxon Global objectives. Now, depending on the number of players, these objectives are either going to be public knowledge or private, known only to the agents of where they need to go. I really like this game with 3 to 4 players. There is a 5th player variant which introduces a betrayer mechanic. I'm not a huge fan of that one per se, but I think there's still a lot of really cool gameplay. And if you do have that 5th player, it's really awesome that Nazca and Plaid has allowed for a rule set to let you play with that number of players. But essentially, every turn of the game, the agent is going to start out the turn and going to move up to 4 spaces. And you can move diagonally, you can move orthogonally. The only rules for movement is that you can't move through an object, but you can move diagonally around an object. So if I was here at G12, I can go to H13, H14, and then H15 and stop here in this road. Now, if I ever stop within line of sight of a hunter, my agent is going to be revealed and they're going to know exactly where I am. So we're going to want to make sure that we're stopping in a location, if we're playing as the agent, away from the hunter's field of view or through their line of sight. And that includes hiding behind areas on the board. That includes using different item cards and moving a greater number of distance. There's a lot of different strategies that are involved here. Again, this is a really, really, really good hidden movement game. In fact, I would say it's the best hidden movement game on the market right now. We'll go into some of the components here in a second, but that's just kind of a brief overview. The hunters are actually going to be on the board the whole time, so the agent's going to know where the hunters are in correlation to them, but the agent's movements, again, are tracked hidden on that separate piece of paper, so the hunters never really are going to know where they are. They can use certain abilities and get an approximate location, either from where their vehicle are or from an agent with that ability. Or a certain ability, but really they're never going to know where they are until they find them. And that actually provides a lot of really cool elements. There's a lot of deep strategic thinking in this game and a lot of really, really rewarding player experiences on both sides of this game. So let me move the board to the side for a second and let's take a look at some of the hunters that are in the game. Okay, the first hunter we're going to look at is the puppet. The puppet's kind of an AI sort of cybernetic robot thing, and the puppet's special abilities, he has 2 of them. The first is control relay, and that allows him, instead of using a movement action, the puppet on a turn may move the vehicle, even if the vehicle is unoccupied, which is cool. The vehicle actually has a base movement of 10 squares, so it can really quickly cover distance on the board very easily. So you use control relay either to get the car to a position where you need it to pick somebody up, or to transport another player so that way they don't have to use their action and move out earlier than they need to. Remote sensor is actually really nice as well. If you're in the car, normally you can use a remote sensor and then find out the agent's location in a conjunction with where the car is. However, with remote sensor, it allows us to do that even when we're not in the car as the puppet. So the puppet's really going to be synergizing very well off of the vehicle mechanics that are built into the game. And just to look at some of these models here, I mean, the model for the puppet is just incredible, man. He looks kind of like C-3PO. I get a very C-3PO vibe when I look at the puppet, and I really think that's cool. But it looks like a crash test dummy, and C-3PO had a baby almost, which is very cool. And the model details here are absolutely incredible. Gotta love this. Next up, we have the Prophet. And the Prophet may be my favorite hunter in the game. The Prophet has 3 different abilities. First off, the Prophet has mind reading and gets +2 on any of its die rolls. So during combat, you're actually going to be able to shoot your gun, and on depending on how far the agent is from your location is what your score is. So if your agent is 4 squares away, you need to get a 4 or higher on the die. However, the Prophet allows you to get +2 on those rolls. So you're going to be able to get a better chance of knowing where they are. You get a 2 or higher when they're 4 squares away, which is really nice. They also have precognition. Precognition allows the player, or makes the agent announce where they're going to be completing objectives the turn before they complete the objective, which is really nice. And then postcognition allows the player to know where the agent was when they were 2 turns ago. So if my agent is currently at E12, but 2 turns ago they were at F5, they could say I was at F5 2 turns ago. And again, it would just highlight these player models because they're absolutely incredible. Look at this guy. Just really awesome detail here within the Prophet. I'm blown away with the quality of the models that Nazca and Plaid had provided us. Just really, really good stuff.
Next up, we have the Beast. The Beast is my son's favorite hunter. He really likes the Beast. The Beast has enhanced senses, and after moving the Beast, if you moved 3 or fewer spaces, an agent may basically the hunter may basically sniff out the agent within 4 squares of the Beast if they declare they are close. They also have brutal strength. This is when the Beast ends its space. His movement on a space with the agent, he rolls a die. On a result of 5 or higher, the agent loses 1 hit point. And quadrupedal movement allows the Raxon employee, the hunter, to move 5 spaces in a turn rather than the 4 they normally do. The deal here is that they move 5 spaces, they will not be able to do anything but melee attack. So it's one of those things you're sacrificing your ranged attack in order to move faster. But the Beast makes up for that with his brutal strength and can really close the distance with his enhanced senses. And here's the Beast's figure as well, and it really, again, just so much detail in these little models, man. Just really, really good stuff. Like the little X that he's got in his head as well. So much detail. And next up, we have the gun. The gun has a sharpshooting ability. It allows you to roll 2 dice when attacking. It also has quick draw, which says during the agent's turn, the agent is spotted by the gun. Roll 1 die. On the result greater than or equal to the distance, the last scene marker, the agent loses 1 hit point. So the gun will actually be able to hurt the agent on the agent's turn, which there's not a lot of abilities that's going to actually happen. And then finally we have sniper shot. Basically the gun is going to face a direction, north, south, east, or west. The gun only has vision at that direction, and if the agent is spotted by the gun, the agent immediately loses 1 hit points, regardless of distance, and there's no rolling there. So sniper shot is very powerful, but kind of niche here. If we look at the actual board, we can see, let me get in here. We can see that there are a lot of different areas where the agent could be hiding. The agent could be here at E3 and us at D4, and we're not able to see him because we can't see around diagonally. However, if we're on one of these main roads, we can cover a lot of distance and be able to see all the way down it. In both of these roads are considered 1 on the main road. Sorry, they're individual spaces, but as far as line of sight concern goes, they are 1 direction. Which I think is really good and allows you to kind of block off the exits as the gun. And you can play her very, very strategically, I think, if you are a good gun. I think also, it may just be me, but I feel like the gun is one of the more advanced classes. Her move list seems pretty basic, but she's very situational. She's incredibly powerful when that situation arises, however. But if you get somebody who's a bad gun player, you're giving a really big advantage, I think, to the agent. Whereas someone like the Beast, the Prophet, or the Puppet, they all have abilities that will generally get you to find a location factor or get you somewhere faster. And I think all of those kind of factor into what you're trying to do is find the agent as quick as possible and make sure that that you lose as few of these as possible. If you hit the agent generally 4 times in a game, they're going to be done. Of course, they can get additional hit points if there's more than 4 players, and if they're 4 or more players, and if they're the orangutan, they actually get another 2 hit points. So the max they have 8, and on minimum they have 4. So there's not a whole lot of damage that the agent can take before they're out of the game, which is something you really need to be mindful of. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the agents of the game. Okay, the first agent we're going to take a look at is the orangutan, and he has a pretty basic ability. He has the toughness trait, which allows him to get 2 additional HP. And if we take a look at the orangutan, again, he's one of my favorite models in the game. He looks really cool. I imagine this is just a giant cybernetic ape suit. Which it is, but he's kind of got a samurai top knot as well. Just a lot of really cool flavor in this guy. I really enjoy the orangutan. And when we talk about some of his equipment, his power fist ability, incredibly strong. And we have the spider. The spider is actually really cool as well. She gets evasion. Hunters get -2 to their attack rolls when they are within 3 spaces of the spider, which is really good because, if you're trying to conserve hit points, you've got to be mindful. And the spider, again, I keep saying that these are my favorite things, but look how great this model is. I mean, that is incredible. None of that is bent. It is all still pristine. It's got manufactured, shipped to me, and not a problem with the spider. I mean, just absolutely incredible model here. Really, really love the detail in the spider, both with the bionic arms and just the way she looks overall. Just a fantastic job again, guys. Here we have Cobra. He has an ambush ability. It says whenever a hunter ends its movement on a square with Cobra, stun that hunter. It cannot attack. When a hunter ends its move orthogonally adjacent to Cobra, you may roll a die. On a roll of 4 or more, stun that hunter. It cannot attack. One of the things I wanted to clarify with Emerson after I got this game is that Cobra's ambush is an interrupt. So if somebody's using, let's say, brutal strength with Beast and they land on Cobra, Cobra immediately stuns them and the Beast cannot attack. Cobra is a great nullifier for the Beast and many other hunters. It allows you to get in, be really offensive as an agent, and a lot of the agents are defensive in their nature. Cobra doesn't really care. He's going to get in there, he's going to cut people up, he's going to get his objectives and get out, just like a good ninja would do. And again, he has another fantastic model. Absolutely love the Cobra Mini here. Just really awesome stuff. And again, I get so many minis all the time that are bent on the sword pieces, and it's just so nice to get something that looks great and is sturdy and reliable, and it's just really, really good quality, guys. Finally, we have, I think, one of the coolest, especially with her equipment, one of the coolest agents in the game, Blue Jay, frequency hack. This allows you to resolve an objective up to 2 spaces away. Now, normally you have to be adjacent to the objective, but with her you can be 2 spaces away, and it allows her to really get away. And combined with these these agents' different equipment cards that are unique to them, specifically Blue Jay's with her hollow decoy, she has a lot of really good ways to trick the other player. So if you like being a crafty agent and you're the agent, you may want to pick Blue Jay because she can do a lot of really neat things here and really throw people off. That being said, I think she has one of the plainer models in the game. There's a lot of detail in there, but I don't know, she just looks kind of normal, which I guess at the end of the day is okay, but I would like to see a little bit more out of this particular model, especially because the other ones are so incredibly good and detailed, and just have so much more personality to them, I think is what I'm trying to say. Now, in a 3-player game, you're going to be able to choose 3 equipment during the game. However, you'll be able to choose more equipment with the more players of the game, so it kind of allows you to scale up the game and keep both sides having even chances of winning. So let's take a look at Tangle Line here, and let me actually get a little closer on the actual card. Okay, so Tangle Line says, reveal this card, choose a hunter that has line of sight with the spider, and roll the die. If you roll equal to or higher than the distance of the hunter, the chosen hunter, that hunter is stunned. And this actually has 2 charges on it as well. So it's a way for you to kind of stun the hunter, even though they're going to be kind of far away, which is nice. Next up, we have Velocity Blade, and this is Cobra's ability. It says, you may reveal this card when Cobra is being attacked. Until the start of your next turn, hunters get a -3 to their die roll when attacking Cobra. It has 2 charges of this as well, so another way for Cobra to kind of get in, get out, and not have to worry about taking unnecessary damage. Next up, we have Blue Jay's Hollow Decoy. It says, do not reveal this card. So when you do that, you basically just write the card down that you used it on your sheet, but you don't actually tell the hunters that you did anything. And then you place the last seen token and place the Blue Jay figure on the board within 4 spaces of the Blue Jay's actual location. Use the movement sheet to secretly mark the round the Hollow Decoy was used. You only get 1 charge of this because it is so absolutely potent in the game. Now, when you use Hollow Decoy, you're going to be able to you're basically giving away that you are, in fact, the Blue Jay. However, they don't know if it's actually that they saw you or that you use the Hollow Decoy, which gives you a lot of really cool options. The last agent-specific card that we have is Power Fist. In Power Fist, you reveal this card, and you place the orangutan figure on the game board at its current location. All hunters within 2 spaces of the orangutan are stunned, and there are 2 charges to Power Fist. And Power Fist is an extremely good ability for you to nullify a bunch of people in one space, and then just kind of smash with this guy. I mean, he just looks so cool. Look at him. I really love that guy. Okay, we have a couple of normal, I say normal, we have a couple of other equipment cards. And I won't get into the 2 promos here, but there are 2 promos, and I say it wouldn't, and I'm going to show you really quick. We have Proximity Mine and EMP Grenade, which are actually promos you get from ordering from Plaid Hat directly, and I believe from pre-ordering the game. So if you haven't already got these guys, check Plaid Hat Stop, hit up Nazca Games on Twitter and see if there are ways for you to get these 2 cards, because these 2 cards are really awesome. So there are 2 copies of all the other equipment in the game. First, we're going to talk about a Smoke Grenade. A Smoke Grenade, reveal this card, and you place a Smoke Grenade token up to 4 spaces away from your agent's location. And until the end of your next turn, all spaces within 1 space of that token block line of sight. So this allows your agent to basically throw a Smoke Grenade down and get the heck out of wherever they are currently located. Next up is Adrenal Surge. You do not reveal this card, and you're allowed to move 6 spaces instead of your normal 4. Rotate this card 90 degrees, showing that you did, in fact, use an equipment. We have Stealth Field. You do not reveal this card until the start of your next turn. Your agent is only visible within 2 spaces of a hunter. Rotate this card 90 degrees to show that it has been used. And finally, we have Flashbang. You reveal this card and place the Flashbang token on the board up to 4 spaces away from your agent's location. All hunters that can see the token lose their vision until the start of their turn. If your agent is visible at the start of their turn, place it on the board. Flashbang is incredibly powerful. It's another way for you to kind of mitigate damage and get out of the way and get to where you need to be on the game board. And there's a lot of really, really cool things that you can do with Flashbang and a lot of synergy you can do. That's an overview of the components and kind of a really brief synopsis of how the game works. I'm not going to get into too many detail of actually how to play the game. I would suggest that if you guys don't know how to play the game, head over to Rodney Smith's channel at Watch It Played and check out his video on how to play. Absolutely incredible job, as per usual. Rodney's one of the best guys in the business, and I don't even want to touch it when it comes to teaching you how to play this thing, because he's already done an amazing job. So follow me now from the table. I'm going to give you our final thoughts of Specter Ops and let you know why I feel that this is the best hidden movement game on the market right now. So please follow me now for our final thoughts. So that was a brief overview and kind of component review of what we get with Specter Ops. Now, when I played Specter Ops the first time, it was actually at Gen Con in 2014, and it was first called Cypher Ops. And a guy named Emerson kind of called me to his booth as I was walking by. It was really cool because he actually said, "Hey, Rick from Let's Level Up." And me being the small fry, I guess you could say, was really taken aback that somebody at the actual festival or at the actual convention knew who I was. So right away I was kind of taken a bit with Emerson and Nazca, and he started showing me around some of his games. First game I saw was Tricks and Treats, and I absolutely loved Tricks and Treats. It is a fantastic game. Then he showed me Volt, and I absolutely loved Volt, and Volt today is one of my family's favorite games to play together. And then he showed me a game called Cypher Ops, and it is basically what you see before you today. And I'm not sure on the details, but from when I talked to him and then when later in the convention, somewhere along the way, Plaid Hat was there. And if I'm butchering the story, please, guys, I apologize. But Plaid Hat came and from what I understand said, hey, we can make this into something very, very special. So a co-publishing was sort of getting. So taking Emerson's original concepts, rebranding it a bit, and adding a lot of really highly detailed models to the game, give you what we have today with Specter Ops. Now, I will say, when I played the game, 5 players I don't believe was in it originally, and it played up to 3. I think it was originally designed to be a 2-player game, an agent versus a hunter. or 2 agents versus 1 hunter. Now, with 4 players, you're going to have 3 agents against 1 hunter, and that really stacks the deck in odds for the actual hunters to win. So, in the way they balance that around is that we actually give the agents more life, more equipment, and they get to secretly pick where their locations are going to be here, or where their objectives are going to be on the game, which I think is a very neat thing. In a 5-player game, however, all 4 hunters are going to be taken up by other players. However, we're going to have these savvy roll cards that are either going to say hunter or agent on them, and the agent is actually going to assign these to the 4 hunters at the beginning of the game, so they will know who the traitor is. And then during the game, the traitor can then reveal themselves and then essentially become an agent of their own, and trying to get the 3 of the 4 objectives and assist the actual other agent along the way. And I think that's a really interesting concept. However, I don't think I really enjoy the game as much as I do with playing with 3 players. I think 3 players was my very first encounter with this game, and that first gameplay was so incredibly high for me that it's hard to I don't know, maybe spoiled a bit by that. So I think the more players you get into this game, the longer things are going to take to play, and I think Specter Ops can be quite thinky. However, it can be fast thinky with the right group, and with 2 to 3 players, I think this game really, really shines. However, I do think there's going to be a lot of players who enjoy it quite a bit with 4 to 5. That being said, it is not a bad game with 4 to 5 players. In fact, if I had 5 players, I'd say, hey, let's play Specter Ops just as quick as if I had 3 or 2. And I'd say, hey, let's play Specter Ops because the game is absolutely that good. I've said a couple times in this video now that this is the best hidden movement game on the market, and I think it is. I think if we compare it to some of the other big ones, Letters to Whitechapel, for instance, comes to my mind. I think those are all fine games. The L5R hidden movement game, I think, is a really good one as well. There's something about the simplicity and the way that this game is executed that I think is more endearing overall. And I think the theme is one that you don't have to be into Sherlock. You don't have to be into ninjas. This theme is I think has a much broader net than some of those other hidden movement games. And again, the absolute way that Emerson has executed the mechanics of this game are so easy that you can really get a lot of different players involved in this. It's not complicated to read through the manual. Absolutely incredible job on that. Whoever edited and put that together, excellent job on the rules. It is so simple to follow along and play. Again, the video that Rodney has done with Watch It Played has made this an incredible, easy pickup, and you can learn how to play the game in 20 minutes and then get playing. And the games themselves don't take too terribly long. And you can stretch things out. You can really, really stretch things out if you're the kind of group or have the kind of group that tend to do those. I have a couple guys in my group who absolutely love thinking about the games, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm much more brash in my decision making, which generally is why I think I lose the majority of the games I play, but that's neither here nor there. If I had any gripes about the game, it'd be twofold. And they're both really kind of nitpicky cosmetic things. There are areas of the board that it's kind of hard to see where we are. Like this space right here, W12, is very hard to see that on the actual board. So if you're looking at things from a distance, you really kind of have to get in close to know where V and W and U and all those kind of meet up together. I think if I could pick anything to change in this game, I'd get one of the playmat style boards that you can just roll out, and I'd give it an Arctic theme so that everything is white and the letters could be dark on the board, and you could still have your color coordinated things with different paints or lighting or however you want to do it to give the different zones their own unique space on the board. However, I think a lighter theme of the actual map would make things much easier to follow along and play on than what we have here. And also, I would really like to just play on the playmat style board than an actual board. I do have a little bit of tearing here that I think was just something that happened in manufacturing, and the board is starting to peel up just a little bit. Hope it doesn't get any worse than it is. This is only after a handful of plays, and it's been okay so far, so hopefully it doesn't get any worse. The second thing is actually something that somebody mentioned to me, one of our buddies here on Let's Level Up. They mentioned the car token. And if you compare the car token to all the other incredible models of this game, it really stands out as being meh. You know, I would like it, I mean, if nothing else, shaped like a car would be really cool. You get this neat car token here, or sorry, this car card that lets you know who all is in the vehicle, but the actual vehicle itself is just represented by this little circle here. And I think, again, a very, very minor cosmetic complaint. It'd be cool if it was more car-shaped, and it would be cool if it was actually a model. It would be really, really cool. But I get it. Those things are expensive to produce, and it's asking a whole lot. So if that ever comes in an enhancement, that'd be a sick promo to get for sure. Overall, again, I think this game is absolutely fantastic. I think this is a must-buy for any Hidden Movement fans. I think if you're a fan of the Plaid Hat games line, which, I mean, if you've played any of the Plaid Hat games, they generally do not make bad games. I don't think I've played a Plaid Hat game to date that has been bad. And I think that's saying a lot because they have quite a few games in the market now, and all of them just seem to get better and better and better, which is just absolutely incredible. If you've played a Nazca game, you know Emerson does not design bad games, man. He's absolutely incredible. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite designers in the business, and I think Emerson, you've got yourself once again a really fabulous game on your hands. So I would personally like to thank Plaid Hat and Nazca Games for allowing me the time and opportunity to take a look at Specter Ops. I really, really enjoy it, and I think this is a must purchase if you're a fan of Hidden Movement games. If you're not necessarily a fan of Hidden Movement games, I think this is a great introductory. It's a fairly cheap game in the grand scheme of things. You can get it for $35 to $45, depending on where you're looking. And it's one that is really easy to teach and learn, so you can really get into that. If you're not a fan of overly thinky games, and if you're not a fan of games that really punish you for making poor decisions, Specter Ops may not be for you. There is a bit of luck involved in the way that comes to actually dealing damage and rolling this dice. However, not much luck plays into it depending on where you position. As the agent, you're trying to, again, get 3 of these 4 positions and get the heck out of town. As the hunters, you're trying to stop that agent from doing that. And the game, again, just executes flawlessly for me. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really, really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends because it helps us out so, so much. And until next time, game on.